Hello and welcome to another edition of the One Team We Agree On. I'm Jillian.
I'm Kyle. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. How about yourself?
Doing fantastic. What a week for the Union
What
and
a
Union
week.
and Union too.
What a week.
It really has been a wonderful, wonderful start to May. I mean, the
hmm
Union have picked up 10 points. I mean, already in the month of May. Um,
Exceeding expectations.
I think they have across the board, and we're going to talk about that. And so maybe it's a little Posidelphia today, but
The Phillies just swept the Pirates too. So, yay.
but anyway, before we get into it, what are we wearing today?
So, I am wearing my Phillies City Connect navy blue t-shirt. It's Brandon Marshall on the back. I mean, he's doing okay, but Mick Abel pitched really, really well. And this is kind of a theme this weekend. We had young players just really going out there and having shutouts. Mick Abel, shutouts over Paul Skeens today, which is pretty awesome. And
That
of
is.
course, we're going to get into Andrew Rick and
Yeah,
the game he
no.
had. So kind of a theme there, but you know,
Yeah, and I'm wearing Las Vegas strip shirt that you got me for Christmas one year.
yep,
Um, but regardless, I think that's one of the statements of the day is Andrew Rick, and I want to give a shout out to people that have gone to our website because the
yeah,
article and the interview that you put together with Andrew
from March.
from March has
Got a lot of traffic. So
it
yeah,
continues to get traffic. It's slowly becoming one of our most viewed articles on the website, the one team we agree on.com.
yeah,
But
yeah. Thanks to everyone who's been checking out our website.
yeah, and thank you for checking out today's episode. Again, as always, feel free to leave a comment. But on today's show, we're going to talk about Union 2
Yes.
friendlies against the Northeasters, Ocean City Northeasters. You were down there.
Yep.
And we're going to try something new today. Since the Union have had a bunch of matches, two matches this week, rather than recap each of them. We're going to talk about a couple themes from the matches. So we'd love to hear if you like this format for when there's two games a week.
Yeah, because there's a lot to cover.
There is. And then we're going to look ahead to next week for Philadelphia.
Yes. So still busy. It's such a busy month of May and
I mean,
lots
yeah.
going on, but lots to be excited about as a Union fan.
And where can people find us at?
So you can find us on our website, theoneteamweagreeon.com. You can also find us on social media. We're at TOTWAG on Twitter and Blue Sky. And we're at the One Team We Agree on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. You can find me at silly double underscore Jilly on Twitter and on Instagram, and I'm at Jillian Almany on Blue Sky. And you are at Coach Almany on all of those.
Yes, and we have Shadow over here, a production assistant.
And it's funny because, side note, there was a really nice interview that the Nor'easters did with Ryan Richter.
Yeah.
And one of the questions was about his Twitter handle and his Instagram handle, which is Shackledino. Okay, because he likes Shaq and he likes Ronaldinho. Okay. So, and he joked on there about how, oh, he'd made that in his 20s and maybe he should change it to something more professional. But no, actually, he thinks he's not going to change it. And you know what? Shout out Ryan because my Instagram handle and Twitter handle are also from my 20s. And it kind of harkens back to a childhood nickname that kind of stuck, and my college teammates would even say it and stuff. So that's why it's Silly Jilly. And I don't know. I don't feel like changing it. So
You're supposed to be funny.
wow. Wow at Coach Almany. Huh? Boring.
It is boring. I
So
mean, yeah,
boring. Yes.
no, it used to be Kyle Almany. And then they were like, you
Yeah.
changed it to Coach Almany. I'm like, okay.
Well, and to be fair, when I did my Twitter username, I was not even an Almany yet. So,
No.
and yeah, so I was still
Yeah.
back then.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get into it. You were down on Friday, for
Yes.
the friendly against the Ocean City
Yeah,
Nor'easters.
I took a personal day off work
Yeah.
and it was a good day to take off. It's the time of year I need it for sure. But I was really glad to be able to go down. And first of all, yeah, I went to the first team training
Yeah.
and so watched first team training and of course not this is coming after the fact, of course, didn't see Andre Blake out there at all. Now, I was only out there for a 15-minute window that we're allowed to view, but it was the backup goalkeepers. So everyone else was out there, and except for Jan, but that's to be that's to be understood. So anyway, so I was there for first team training, and then Mother Nature let loose afterward.
Mm.
And then I went to the Union 2 versus the Northeasters friendly, which they ended up having to move inside to the new indoor practice facility. So, which it definitely is still a work in progress. There was quite a bit of rain leaking into it on the one
Mhm.
on the sideline there and whatnot. It's still very under construction, but there was a decent crowd, like not a huge crowd, but there were people
Yeah.
all along the sideline, which was good to see. I mean, it is at noon. Well, the game started at 1, but it's a school day for kids. There was a bunch of kids there, so I don't know if they took off or what. But anyway, some of the parents of players, shout out to Dara Griffin. I got to meet Jordan's mom. She's very nice. She helps run the swag, which
Hmm.
is really cool. So that was cool to talk to her about that. But um, we saw some familiar faces there. Well, so Marlon LeBlanc was there, which was nice to see him. But anyway, and some of our friends who also covered the team. So that was nice.
Anything about swag that you picked up on?
I mean, nothing new that we haven't like heard about.
Discuss. Okay.
Yeah, but for those that don't know about the swag, it is a soccer program that's no cost and for young players. And we've talked about it before because Ramsey Kawasmi, he helps run
Yeah.
that as well. And so, it's a really cool program for the youth soccer players in the area. So,
What were your thoughts of the game overall?
all right. So first of all, the you kind of expect that they're going to play as many players as they can. It's a friendly. They can sub as many as they want, do what they want there. So the first half, you have and I put all the lineups and everything out, but the pairing of Marcus and Eddie up top. You
Hmm.
also had Leandro Soria in there as well. So it was first of all with the forwards, I thought Marcus looked great. He and Eddie have that chemistry. And, midfield, you had like Henry Bernstein was in there and Nick Pariano and Kellen was in there. Kellen looked real, real good, and the back line we saw Raphael and Oscar and Jordan Griffin and Isaiah LaFleur. And Jordan and Raphael and Oscar did play the entire game.
Hmm.
Jordan, sorry, Isaiah got subbed out at the half, but Mike Sheridan in goal. So, a bunch of, those guys were all pretty solid. I thought the first half they played really cohesive, and Ryan Richter talked about this
Yeah.
post game. They really played as a team, and they scored 3 goals in the first half. So Kellen, Eddie, and Isaiah all scored. They gave up 1 goal. Mike Sheridan got chipped, not from like way far up, but
Yeah.
from fairly close. It just kind of went and bounced over him, and it was a solid first half. And then the second half, a lot of substitutions. You see guys like Vasquez and Olney come in, Sal, and we saw Malik Jakupovic come in for the first time. That was
Yeah.
his first time with Unity now. Again, he hasn't been in with MLS yet, and we haven't had any official word of him signing yet, but it was reported by our friend Jose Nunez and whatnot. So we're just waiting on an official word about that. But yeah, Malik was in there at forward, and yeah, he was solid. And again, I asked Ryan about his performance after the match, and he said, there's definitely things for them to learn, talk about and look at. But it was his first time in there, so it's to be expected.
It
So.
is. And he also asked about Oscar Benitez. And again, there's a
Mhm.
lot of things you can review with him.
Yeah, he definitely has speed and physicality. He did get burned a few times on defense there. He'd have to rush back and,
Yeah.
clean it up. But all in all, you see the potential there. He just hasn't had as much playing time, and he still has things to learn. But I think there's a lot of upside with him. I thought Raphael looked really good too. And Raphael's had such good chemistry with Neil Pierre, who, by the way, was there, but he's not suited up. He's still recovering. Stas was there, but not dressed either.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Stas picked up a knock or what, but anyway, yeah. And the second half, Ryan Richter had said he didn't like how they played the second half, really, because they were more about individuals trying to do too much, basically, and weren't playing together as well. And they did get scored on. They didn't score any goals in the second half. They got scored on. So
Hmm.
the final result was 3-2. And, a lot to look at there. It's good for them to get a game not just against themselves, not just a training or whatever, but to get an actual kind of game in there during their yet another bye week. They keep having a lot of breaks. So Ryan did talk about how this was good to keep them fresh and better than just having a training. So
Good. So overall thoughts?
yeah, I thought it was great to go see the facility, number one, and see a lot of these guys get a chance to play and see how they work together. And Nor'easters, it was their final preseason match. So they're just starting their season.
Yep.
So they're getting in shape. And their players, yeah, they're not bad. And of course, there's some history with Nor'easters. Ryan Richter played for them when he was in college, so he
Yep.
has those relationships. And I asked him about it, asked him about his favorite memory, and he told me about that. And all this is in the article I put out, by the way. And also, Nick Pariano played there too while I was in
Yes.
college. So, it serves as a team for a lot of college kids to go play there in their off season. So, and Ryan said that, yeah, they have it penciled in for next year to do a friendly. So,
Well, you like to see that,
yeah,
It's a good training opportunity, especially on a off week when,
yeah.
there's been so much start and stop
Hmm.
with this season for the Union too.
It's hard to keep the momentum.
So you like to see that they at least have that opportunity to play, you know, a a good USL 2 side
Yeah.
that they're going to be able to, maybe build off. And like Ryan said, with Oscar and Malik, get some film on and some learning
Yeah.
moments.
Yeah, absolutely.
So anyway, anything else from that?
Um, no, that about covers it, I'd say, but um yeah, and also this was on turf too, just to
Yeah,
note. So, I have some experience playing on there, but overall, real positive. And like I said, I was pretty high on how Marcus looked.
yeah.
If he can stay healthy, I'll tell you what, he's got really good speed. He really puts in a lot of shots. He's
No,
not
he,
afraid to
he
take a shot and also pass it over. He was setting up Eddie quite well a lot of times. Eddie just sometimes couldn't finish, but
I mean, I
yeah.
really like the Marcus pairing. I really like the Eddie and Sal pairing. I think those are
Yeah.
going to be good.
Hmm.
Stas is still figuring things out, and maybe eventually he'll become a, valuable asset, whether it be at the first or second team. But,
Hmm.
you know, I'm really been impressed with Union 2 this season so far. I will say that they have been very good. Yes, the results, the 3 points haven't come their way, but this is a team that, if they continue to build off of each match, and I said this in the past, look, the sky's the limit for this team because you got that influx of those guys that were there that haven't made that first team leap from 2024.
Hmm.
And now you got these homegrowns that now, like Kellen, Jameer, and a couple others
Yeah.
that are highly rated that are pushing for minutes.
Yeah.
So there's that perfect storm here where this is a good team. And whether it's Oliver Zemla, Andrew Rick, you got a quality keeper in net.
Hmm.
So it's a perfect situation for them.
Yeah, and let's not forget during the summer, especially, you see some of those academy guys come up and get more of a chance.
And
And
then once
you're gonna have some
kids
guys
go,
go to college
yeah.
because there's several that are coming to college right now. So,
So
for
yeah,
example, like Gavin Wetzel, and we'll see if, all
you
the
know,
if anyone would go the route that Frankie went and you know,
Zach
but
Mastrodimos,
yeah, he was there,
Henry
but not.
Bernstein.
Yeah, yeah,
They
Zach
all.
was there too, but he wasn't dressed. So,
So anyway, let's talk now about the first team.
yeah, so what a week for the first team.
What a week. I mean, 6 points. I mean, I think I had this week like a 3 or 4 point week.
Hmm.
Um,
We would have been
but
happy with the draw at Atlanta, but they come away with 3 points.
and we thought they'd get 3 points.
Meanwhile, you fully expect them to take care of business with LA, who coming in winless, and it's a road match for LA and everything. So you're thinking, okay, this should be 3 points. And then it
They made
was,
it interesting.
they did make it interesting.
But we're going to talk about both these matches
Yeah.
right now. So, couple topics. Yeah, so Union went 3-2 on Wednesday against
LA
Atlanta,
Galaxy,
LA Galaxy.
what a comeback.
And then they grind out, first half was sloppy.
Hmm.
Carnell said he just wanted to go to the half, a lot of rotations. And again, I
You're
apologize
talking
for
about
the,
Atlanta?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
And, but they get to half, get a penalty kick, and ride off into sunset and get 3 points.
Yeah.
So my first question is, let's talk about the buy-in of the players.
Yeah.
You look at the explosive second half against LA.
Yeah.
You look at the celebration on Bariba's goal in the 96th minute. Like
Hmm.
I told Todd mentioned on his podcast, it was like a playoff victory. I mean,
Yeah.
you saw Andrew Rick booking it down the sidelines,
Hmm.
and that was
He didn't
Cool
fall this
Stadium.
time.
And then versus Atlanta United last night, the rotation on the first half, it wasn't pretty. You thought a goal was going to come from Atlanta.
Hmm.
Rick and backline kept them in check.
Yeah.
And it was a gritty game where, yeah, you get out of there with a point, you're happy with it, but man,
Hmm.
to get 3 points, you're over the moon. And that team were about 40th minute on was the better team on the night, I thought. So getting on those little notes, how we love Jim, but how bought in are they right now with the Cardinal system?
I feel like they're really bought in. From what we've heard from the players when interviewed, they really do seem to believe in what Bradley is doing with them. And they have a great locker room culture going. And we'd heard in the past that they did before, but I feel like it's so much better. Like last year, you had Kai saying, "Oh, there's guys going and just looking at their phone after the game," and
Yeah.
that sort of stuff. But these guys seem like, one unit. They are on the same page. And they must have gotten to just be a fly on the wall during halftime in the LA match. I think they got chewed out there.
Now to
And
be fair, Bradley said they didn't really do much. They didn't show film. They just
they just
talked.
talked.
They just
And
talked.
that's where you wonder, okay, I wouldn't be surprised if you have someone like Bedoya or Kai or somebody saying,
I think some strong words were
I
said,
think strong words are saying they came out
but I
with a
also think it
furor.
wasn't like a negative, like what the heck are
No,
you
it's
doing? I think it's like it is probably well, I take it back. Probably what the heck you're doing, but in a positive context, like you're better than this.
right. And
And
they came
and
out with belief and they
and it's
battled
real
back.
talk. And
Yeah.
and sometimes you need real talk.
Yeah, I mean, and to their credit, they come out and after being down 2-0, and it's at halftime, I said this to one of our friends and I tweeted out, well, you know what they say about 2-0 leads. I hope it proves correct. And then of course, well, we know what happens. So to get those goals, okay, and Ty getting that winning goal, then I mean, Subaru Park exploded. And it wasn't a huge crowd, but man, was it loud with that. That was, incredible. So it was really great to see them have that tenacity, come back and win that. A game that they should win, but of course they had to make it interesting. So,
They did, and
and I also think that, that's a huge turning point. I I think a lot of people have said this last year, they don't come back and win that
no.
game. So and again, we love Jim, but I think Bradley has been doing a good job of using substitutes and using the right substitutes in a lot of these chances as well. And we saw it on Saturday. We saw it with Atlanta too, because
And we're gonna
yeah,
get to that in a
yeah,
little bit, but
and um, and also before I forget, I wanted to share about with Wednesday. Wednesday they had the Year of the Snake merch.
well,
Can't forget this. So I did check that out. And I did get the navy blue t-shirt that has that on it. So I want to share that. It took them long enough to put Year of the Snake stuff out because when all that, when it was Chinese New Year and everything, we're like, why aren't they doing anything with Year of the Snake? And and it's funny because it's the Year of the Wood Snake and it signifies kind of new beginnings, kind of a rebirth and everything,
Yeah.
like a snake shedding its skin and all of that. So
Hmm.
I feel like it's very indicative of this season too, because they are kind of being reborn here. They're shedding some of the old stuff and trying new things, and
And that's a
there's a
very
lot of
good
belief.
point because there is a lot of belief, and you saw that again last night in Atlanta,
Yeah.
with their with that first half where,
Mhm.
again, they're just trying to weather the storm. 40th minute they come back, and from 40th minute on, they really were the aggressor. Now Atlanta had some chances, but
Boy, did they have some chances. Some
they
that they were, I think, really mad at themselves for not finishing.
yeah.
But
And we'll talk about Andrew Rick's performance in a bit, but it was really good to see that, these are games the Union should win.
yes,
They're winning those games on a consistent basis now. Now you can say, hey, they still got to beat the Inter Miamis. They still got to beat the good top teams on the road in the league. They got to get
hmm
points and not draws against the top teams.
yeah,
But you see, you and I've seen it, and others have seen it. The buy-in's there, and I think fans really should be optimistic and impressed right now.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, and it's how about Ty Baribo?
I mean, let's talk about him
Yeah.
for a bit. I mean, 3 goals now, 2 games. On Wednesday, he was the player of the match day after
hmm
his brace against, when he, comes
It's on.
on that second half, scores that second goal tied up, and then that beautiful ball from Mikel into the
Oh
header.
my gosh, that
And
whole
then,
sequence.
and yeah,
Like, first of all, yeah, that sequence, that really begins with Cavan doing that little flick back, which was awesome, and then yeah, ends up going to Mikel eventually, and him sending that over, just perfect ball there for Ty to head that in. I mean, what a sequence.
yeah, but even last night, the opportunities he was creating in the
Right.
midfield, tracking back, getting the ball up, Mikel earns that penalty kick on that
Yes.
cross that probably should have finished. Let's be
I mean,
honest.
that goal was wide open, and credit to Atlanta's defender. They did a good job getting in there, but then of course it was a handball, and as
Yeah,
soon as it happened, I'm like, that's a handball.
yeah, I think we
And
all knew
yeah,
that. And
yeah,
then Chris Spencer even said that, and he got yellow. I
yeah,
mean, it was. I mean, he was sliding to block the shot, but the hand was up.
yeah.
Um, Having said that, Uwa draws Uwa draws the PK.
Mhm.
Baribo beats, Guzan, who
Who, yeah,
read right, but it was a great take. And, even in that last half, there of the game, uh, just the impact he's made. I think, and then we also have talked about with Ty is, he has 20 goals since his first goal with the club in
yeah,
June of last year. So it's very impressed.
yeah. It is very impressive, and for him, like he puts himself at the right spot. He's good at getting in there and
Well,
getting
he'll
the ball
tell
in him.
you at times he needs to be better at that.
Yeah, oh, for
But
sure. But if say and Mikkel gets a lot of unwarranted hate from people that he's not scoring enough goals, but he's done a lot of the dirty work and
yes,
getting the assists or setting things up, and so credit to him. But
and I'll still argue that there are players in this league that are getting paid far more than Mikel and Bruno Damian. And Damian is another one that is doing well.
uh
Um,
he is.
you got $5 million there. There are $5 million players out in this league doing far less than
Yep.
those two
Look
players.
at Atlanta. Look at Atlanta and
Yeah, I mean
their
that's
squad,
a very good
all
point.
that they've paid to bring in these players, and
But beyond that, there's
yeah.
other players. I mean, again, we like to kid that you don't spend. I mean, you
hmm
paid right around 1.5 for Tyberibo.
Mm-hmm.
Again, and I think Jose said this a couple times. I think you've said it. You said
Mm-hmm.
it on the post game last night. It's about scouting.
Yeah.
Well, you probably didn't say it, but somebody else brought it
Mm-hmm.
up. It's about the scouting.
Yeah.
And Ernest Tanner and company are doing very good things. And
Mm-hmm.
sure, do you want them to go out and get that elite high level player and pay for 10, 14 million? Not saying the union
Mm-hmm.
would do that. Sure, you could. But then if they don't perform, is that risk worth the reward? And
Mm-hmm.
every transfer is worth the risk.
Yeah. But we'll say that Ernst has hit on more than he's missed.
Definitely recently.
Yeah, recently. I mean, you look at picking up guys like Danley and Jovan. Look at these guys.
Oh,
Like,
for sure.
yeah. So that's been incredible to see.
Um, and then, let's talk about Andrew Rick.
Yes.
He played, made his fifth consecutive start. Andre Blake's still dealing with that knee injury.
Right. And going back to LA, I don't think those were necessarily all Rick's fault, those goals that were given up,
I
but
would say the first one he could have been better on.
he could have been better on that
He
one.
did not set his feet. Me
No.
and Todd both watched the replay. He did not set his feet. And
Yeah.
again, just like New York City,
Mm-hmm.
these are learning moments for a
Yeah.
19-year-old player, and people need to realize this. This guy's 19 years old.
Yeah.
These are learning moments.
Yeah. And then he just played out of his mind against Atlanta. And he's going up against players like Latte Lot and these guys that,
Miguel Almiron.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, guys that played in some of the highest levels of
right.
soccer.
And Andrew comes up with some big saves.
Moranchuk.
Yeah.
Those are
So
beats for
now
Alana.
the ageless wonder, Brad Guzan, actually, he played a pretty good game too. He made some
I
big
mean, he made
saves.
that save in the first
Yeah.
3 minutes on
So,
Damiani. I mean,
yeah. But
but
Andrew Rick, my goodness, he just he showed a lot of poise. He's gotten better at directing the defense and all that. I think
he's better.
yeah.
It's the Andre Blake level in terms of directing the defense.
No,
He's not there yet. And I don't
but
know if he'll ever get there.
he's got great mentors around him. He's got
Oh, he's
great
got
coaching.
Blake.
Yeah.
He's got Phil Wedden. I mean, look,
Yeah.
you look at this guy, 19 years old, making saves like he
Mm-hmm.
did in the first half,
Yeah.
making saves there. Even those spill balls where Nate Harrell, I think it was
Yeah,
the
Nate
second.
kicked one out that
Yeah,
yeah.
but that's still a great save.
And speaking of Nate, I thought he did a great job actually at center back last night. He's really improved on that.
Yeah,
I mean, so that was good to see. But Rick, what what growth we've seen? Because we knew he was good when he was with Union 2 all the
oh
time.
yeah.
But that's a different level. He's going up against these how many $1 million paid players that coming over from Europe and everything and holding his own. So
Like we said on the post game show, Union. I know after LA there was discussion on the post game about do you need to go out and get a veteran goalkeeper and loan Rick? And I still think that's, I mean, look, if Andre comes back and now he doesn't have injuries, we said it last night, Rick's too good for Union 2 at this point. He really, really is.
yeah, at the same time though, it's like, all right, well, if you loan him out and then Andre gets hurt again, then you have to either rely on
Well, then
your
you need
backup.
to
You
go,
gotta get
you
someone
gotta
else.
go get somebody because Zema's not the answer.
No,
And he,
and as much as we were hoping that he was, and he had a lot of promise there, but yeah, I mean, it's clear Andrew Rick is their goalkeeper of the future. Um, so Rick needs to keep getting playing time, but
he does
you know,
regardless. But
yeah,
again, last night, man of the match, in my opinion.
yep,
And, I wouldn't be surprised tomorrow if he's not on player goalkeeper of the match day.
yeah. I mean,
And if
definitely.
he's not, I'm gonna be like,
If he's
what?
not, then they must have had some other really good games.
And there were some
There
other
were,
there were, but I wouldn't be shocked.
but he
But
needs to be in that conversation for sure.
for sure. Um, we have two more topics, and then we're gonna wrap it up and talk about the Open Cup in Inter Miami coming
Hmm.
up. But you know, last night, um, we saw the rotation when starting 11. I wrote ballot
Yep.
too.
Yeah.
Lot of rotation.
Oh yeah.
Lukic was playing what, like right back at times. You had Damian paying a hybrid 10. There's just a lot of rotation. And then, Carnell talks about four different formation changes.
Mm,
Things, Jim would say, yeah, second half we flipped to this formation. But to do four formation changes in the game once they were getting figured out on
yeah.
rotation, and then just the subs these last two games.
Yeah.
Like, again, we love Jim, but Carnell recently, and he's made some mistakes here and
Yeah.
there. And even I said, I really did think that you, you brought in Kevin, but you didn't need McConnell on Wednesday. You needed Biza because you're trying to get gold. But hey, he got it right. And at the end of the day, those are things that, huh, again, love Jim. And this is not like saying Bradley's better than Jim, because that has yet to be determined.
Right.
It's more to say, again, maybe there was a need of to freshen things up.
Yeah. And so when you see this lineup, and it's like, oh wow, that is quite the rotation. And some people are out there like, oh my gosh, what's he doing? But again, with
He's
this,
going for the U.S.
he's
Open
going
Cup.
for it made it clear. It's like, oh, he's going for the Open Cup. I mean, you, Kyle, you said, I don't hate this lineup. I mean, get to halftime, make some subs, just give some of these guys a much needed rest.
And that's the other
And
thing with the way that
and the
you
plan
play.
worked. And to Bradley's credit, yeah, they were getting figured out in some places. So he adjusted. He adjusted and moved people around and brought in subs, and it worked. And they were able to hold him off. And
Will it work all the time? No,
no,
but again, you like to
hmm
see that he's making the subs
yes,
and he's also figuring, as he likes to say, the pieces of the puzzle, which
hmm
in coaching, that's coaching 101. You got to be able to adjust and adapt.
hmm and another thing, let's talk about Kai.
We can.
Yeah, let's talk about Kai
Uh,
because
No, it's off the script.
yeah, well, okay, first of all, when Bedoya was subbed off, Kai put on the captain's armband. So this is, I think, the first time I've seen him in
Yeah.
that role because usually it was Ale or it was Andre or it was Jacob, but I don't think we've seen a match where none of them were on the field. So yeah, Kai got to wear the captain's armband and he was playing his typical, very, you know, gritty play, but he has that collision
With Latte Law.
with Latte Lot goes down and you could see on the camera like you see the blood coming out of the back of his head and it's
Well,
like,
they
"Oh my
cut
God."
it out on that like real quick. Or they
Yeah.
were trying to show it, and you could just see it oozing down his fingers. I'm like,
Yeah, I saw the back
oh,
of his head and it's like, "Oh God." So I'm like, "Oh God, oh God, oh God." And Latte Lot got up, but yeah, Kai's down. And then the training step they go out and they get him cleaned up. He comes off the field and you see Glessness getting ready. You think Bradley's going to bring Glessness on and switch him out and move Nate over or something, but nope, Kai comes back on. And we'd said like if Kai comes back on here, that's so Kai. Like I wouldn't be surprised. He's been called the machine. So Kai comes back on. Battles and he hit and noticed at one point his head was bleeding, again. Yeah.
yeah, he was like wiping it off.
Yeah.
Like, but here's the thing, and you kind of
Yeah.
asked like Bradley,
Yeah.
because like he said in his statement, somebody else had asked like, how's he doing? Well, he's not celebrating too much right now because obviously you want to check for concussion and all that, and we'll
Yeah.
see what happens with that.
hmm
But then you ask like, what was the decision to keep him on? Because
Yeah.
like you said, it's a fair
It's
question.
a fair question because number one, besides the fact that there's, he hurt his head and everything, but also you need him for Wednesday. You need him for these matches coming. You got Wednesday with the Open Cup. You got Inter
You don't need
Miami.
him for Wednesday.
Well,
You
but I
need him
mean,
for Frankie or Bison and
well, yeah,
Harrow.
but you got Miami coming up and everything. So
Well, you need him for
and
Miami.
and he doesn't really get a rest too often.
No.
So that would have been perfectly understandable. Oh, he comes off and to just rest the rest of the match. But uh no, like Bradley said, you need a leader on the field at that point, and Kai was that guy, basically.
He was still going all in. That's the best thing. That's why I tweeted out
Yeah.
like the heart of Kai Wagner is amazing because here's a guy that's definitely taken some wax on the night, to
Yeah.
be to be fair. But to see him still out there, having his back, showing his presence,
Yeah.
defending, trying to block down, making clearances like he does. You saw a lot of those players, and this is the whole back line on the night. Yeah, maybe they were getting exposed here and there. They
Mhm.
bent, but Rick and the back line did not break. And that's something I'm curious to see if they can continue this. This can be a recipe for success with the way they press.
No, absolutely.
So anyway, um, just a couple other things. We talked about Ty's goals. Best start in 13 games.
Hmm.
They're top of the conference, top of the league at the moment.
Yep. First
And
reporter
that's
seal.
not going to change until next Saturday. So enjoy it, fans, if you're
Stop
listening.
the count.
You know, First time winning an MLS play in Atlanta during the regular
Hmm.
season, and first time getting all 6 points against Atlanta in franchise history. We talk about each week, it seems like there's a new benchmark being set.
I believe they have the best goal differential
The,
also. They
uh,
were behind Vancouver, but they might have
uh,
jumped.
they might have.
Um, and Vancouver, they had a draw last night. So that,
Check that.
yeah. So anyway, goal differential.
Click on that.
We are one, yeah, Union are one behind. So Vancouver's 14, Union are 13.
Yeah, that's
So
what I thought.
that's what I thought so
Because
too.
Vancouver's only given up 10 goals on the
Yeah.
season.
So,
While
but
we have
still,
more goals,
yeah.
the Vancouver's only given up less. So
But still, it's impressive. So
it is. It makes that match in Vancouver all the more tempting.
we so want to go to that.
Yes, that makes this match all the more tempting, and we might have to fly out
Yeah.
and get
See if we
there.
can make it work.
Yeah. Anyway, my final thought on this week. There's still work to be done.
Always.
It's 14 matches into the season, but there is a vibe of, again,
There's belief.
after 10 matches, you know what you have.
Yes.
This is a good team. This is a team that you can watch. It's not always beautiful watching. It's
Mm-hmm.
not like beautiful soccer. This is more blue collar football, Red Bull soccer that,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
it gets results, but you have to be impressed with the way they're playing at the moment.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of belief in the team, and I'm interested to see if they keep doing this. Are are the fans going to be showing up even more? Well, we know what it's going to be like on Saturday, but it's
La
it's
pink.
exciting soccer. Gosh. But yeah, it's exciting soccer right now. You see people buying in. There's exciting personalities on this team. People are so fired up. You've got guys like Andrew Rick, doing his thing. People are really buying into that. People have fallen in love with Frankie. Like
Yeah.
he's making a name for himself. It's great. And Ty Baribo, what a story he's been though.
Look,
Just
and
and
there's more
there's
stories to
so
be.
many stories, but yeah, it's exciting times and you got to enjoy it. And hopefully they keep this going, but because it's still only May, there's a lot of season left. But I'll tell you what, it's the way they've been playing. It's very promising. The fact that even if they've dug themselves in a hole, they show fight and we've seen them come back from it.
And I'm going to say something else.
Good teams find ways to win.
Last year, Union dropped 27 points from
Yeah.
winning position. You know how many points they've dropped right now?
How many?
Two. You know who else has dropped two? Columbus. They're tied for the best, fewest drop points right now. Now, again, still playing soccer,
Mm-hmm.
but that is indicative of they can get up and they can hold it, and then they can get back around and get those points,
Mm-hmm.
and that's okay. That's a good thing. That's a very good thing, actually.
Yeah.
So I say all to say this team's exciting. Now we move to a very big week.
Yes.
On
Yes.
Wednesday, we have the U.S. Open Cup round of 16 in Subaru Park.
Keystone Derby.
Yes, for the first time ever, I believe.
Yes. So Pittsburgh Riverhounds coming to Subaru Park.
So they defeated NYFC.
NYCFC.
I did. I said
Oh,
that.
no, you didn't.
What did I say?
I don't even know. It wasn't.
I said NYCFC.
Now you have. Anyway,
Okay,
continue.
well, maybe I slurred. I'm sorry if I did. Um, anyway, they were down, man. The only remaining USL, MLS, non-MLS side left in the tournament, and because
Hmm.
they're only remaining USL side, apparently they got 50K from USL championships for that.
Hmm.
Um, Former Union Academy player, YouTube keeper Ben Marino is making his return,
Hmm.
and that's why I was wearing the Harrisburg Heat kit on the post-game show last night.
Hmm.
Bob Lilly, local 717 and Jersey native. He has a lot of things. Was the played for the Hershey Impact, played for the Harrisburg Heat. Um, Him and Mark Pulisic, Christian's dad, worked together locally. He was the coach at Hershey Wildcats when they had a outdoor soccer team, and then they were together at the Pittsburgh Riverhounds for a time. But you know, veteran coach, he's done well in USL. So I'll be excited to see him back. We saw him in Vegas a couple years ago.
That's right. We did see the Riverhounds there.
Yeah, but I would expect some rotation, but I would think at this point, Carnell's pushing for a deep run, hopefully for the cup.
Yeah, they need to go out and take care of business. They need to go out strong from the
They need
get-go.
to get it done in 90 minutes.
They absolutely need to get it done in 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Number one, they have enough matches. It is enough minutes they're having to be played. Also, it's a weeknight for me. Come on, please spare me. But yeah, they need to go out and just get on it right away. Um, and then maybe if they get a lead and they're looking good, then okay, then sub out some people.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see what goes rotation wise on that. But
I
yeah,
think I think the Union go out, um, hopefully get up early,
yeah,
keep building the momentum, get some goals, and right off in the sunset. I mean, look, they have some MLS players on the team.
yeah.
They also have a lot of college players. So, it's going to be interesting. And then we shift focus to Saturday, and Circus
The
says it's
circus
going.
is coming to town on Saturday.
Yeah, it is. A lot of lifelong Inter Miami fans will be there.
Yeah.
And look,
You'll see parents showing up with their
and
union stuff on and their kid in Miami stuff.
look, I get it. Like Messi and his friends are great soccer players, and
Yeah.
this isn't like trying to dunk on Messi. Like,
No, it's just being shoved down everyone's throats, and they've been basically become the heel.
I mean, you either die to hero or live long enough to see yourself become
Hmm.
the villain. And I think that's what's kind of slowly becoming
Yeah.
with this tenure with Inter Miami. But
Hmm.
at the same time, look, the Union have not beaten Inter Miami since Messi's been there. In fact, they beat them, what was it, 4-1 or 4-0? And then the next day they announced Messi was coming to
Hmm.
Inter Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then after that, like, you couldn't beat Messi.
Hmm.
And Inter Miami. So. Are they up to the challenge? I think so. And I think, we saw a game. Now, Gazdag scored that goal before he got moved, but they were competitive. I
They were
mean,
competitive.
Ua had two opportunities to score goals. They had Damian missed the header that could have drew the game late. They had opportunities. Even when Messi came on, they still were creating opportunities.
Yeah, and as of late, they've really shown that they are beatable and they have weaknesses. And I'm sure that the Union staff's gonna be looking at these past matches and seeing how these teams beat them
I
because
mean, it's 6:36 right now, and they're playing in a couple minutes.
so they are beatable. Their defense isn't great. They get, if you make a mistake and they go on the counter against you, yeah,
They're gonna hurt you.
it's trouble. But I think that, well, hey, the Union just beat Atlanta in their own stadium for the first time. there's a first time for everything.
There is. And so this is my final part before we wrap up. Union has the opportunity, even with a point, even if they draw like nothing, nothing, 1-1, 2-2,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. They get a point.
Yeah.
They're at 30 points in 15 matches,
Yeah.
a little under halfway through the season. And you take a couple bumps here and there, that's around 58 to 60
Mhm.
points. 62
Yeah.
points. Think about that where we were in January, where
Oh, people were
people
thinking wooden spoon.
were saying 20 this club couldn't get 25 points.
Mm-hmm.
They'd be lucky at 25 points.
Yep.
They're 29 points right now. And I know the person that said that follows us, and
Mm.
shout out to you. We're just having some fun here. But think about that. Really, as bad as we were, people freaking out,
Mm-hmm.
you're at 29 points. They could be at 30 points on next Saturday. We could be sitting here at 32 points. Who knows?
Yeah, so that's tremendous.
That's, again, lots of soccer.
Yeah.
And again, not trying to sound Posidelphia because next week we could be singing a whole different tune if they get knocked out and
It's
beat
how
by
yeah.
Miami.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a good team. Now, to be a very good team, they got to beat Inter Miami.
Yes. Yes, they do. And so this will be a big test. And, you know, I think that if they go and beat Inter Miami, that that is a great sign because we saw them. Columbus is they're a good team and they draw. Okay,
They
it
drew
should have
last night at home.
when Columbus. Yeah, they just drew as well. But you see Union going toe to toe with these good teams too. So it's
Mhm.
not just like, oh, they're beating up on teams that are not good. I mean, they almost lost to LA Galaxy, but it's it's how it goes.
It really is.
It really is, and how it's like in football any given Sunday, but
It's soccer.
it's soccer.
Bradley said this a couple times. It's
It's
soccer.
soccer.
And it's like anything in sports. But anyway, Union 2 play on Sunday against Inter Miami 2. We'll
Yep.
be there as well.
Yep.
Um, and to wrap up, where can people find us?
So you can find us um, on all the social media outlets. Pretty much we are on, like I said before, at TOTWAG on Twitter and Blue Sky, and at the One Team Agree on Facebook and Instagram. Find us wherever you get your podcasts, and please check out our website, the1teamweagreeon.com, because we got lots of articles on there, and we publish several things a week. So,
And we got some stuff coming out this week again. And probably this is going to be the only podcast for this week, but you never know how things go. If we got breaking news, we'll cover it.
yep.
But until next time, this is all for this episode of the One Team We Agree On.
Yeah, make sure to like and subscribe, leave us comments 'cause we love hearing from you. And it's been nice meeting some you guys in person. If you see
Yep.
us out at at the games, definitely come say hi. We got stickers if you want stickers. So, as long as we have them, we
It's
have
just funny.
stickers.
It's like, sir, hi, we're fans. Sorry, we don't have any stickers.
But no,
Uh,
definitely say hi to us if
yeah,
if you see us.
definitely
So
say it.
appreciate it. But yeah, we appreciate um all the interaction we've had and people reading our articles. So thank you.
Thank you. Yes. And thank you for like over 300 people visiting the site this week. Again, we've been averaging that and more. It's great to see. So until next time, I'm Kyle,
I'm Jillian.
and we'll see you at the game.